Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Keith Hockin here with Top Producer with another Wednesday Facebook Live event. Really excited about today's topic. We're going to talk about one of Top Producer's other solutions called Fivestreet, which we don't talk a lot about, but is actually really relevant when you kind of look at consumer behavior today. Top Producer heavily focuses on, helping you get more from your database, your sphere of influence, your past clients, leads. Whereas Fivestreet is really, really focused on helping you get more from those online leads, those leads that you might be spending money with Realtor.com, Zillow, all these other companies. You might be spending money on Facebook. So we're going to talk a little bit about Fivestreet and how Fivestreet can ultimately help you increase your lead response. And by increasing your lead response, increase your lead conversion. So really excited to be here. Hope everyone can hear me. I just want to get a validation before we get moving here. If you could just make a comment that you guys can see me and hear me, that would be great. And we'll get started. And you guys can type in on the comment box there. And we will begin once I get a confirmation from someone. All right, awesome. All right, thanks, Meg. All right, I will take that as all right. Thanks, Fred. You can see me. I hope you can hear me coming through loud and clear. So let's get started. So, the reality is look, we all know that the consumer journey today starts online. And online leads are great. It's an introduction to someone who you didn't know, someone who doesn't know you. But they can obviously be really tough to manage. One is you get leads from a ton of different sources. So there isn't just one place anymore. There is hundreds of places that you can generate consumers online to talk to, generate those introductions. The need to reply immediately is now real. We can no longer take 24 hours, days to respond. And I'll go through some data to share with you about that. And ultimately, what you have to think about is, what first impression are you making with that online consumer? When Bill, if someone comes in on your listing, and Bill, I'm just going to use an example because I saw your name on Facebook. Someone comes in on your listing and you respond. How fast you respond? What's that first impression look like, and how do you make it meaningful? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Let's kind of go back a little bit. When you kind of go back, if you can believe it, 8 short years ago, online leads were not that big. There was about 4.5 million real estate leads generated online compared to almost 4.8 million homes that sold. That's a good ratio, about 1-to-1 ratio. But if you fast forward, look what happened. The consumer behavior changed. The tools, the phone, let's be honest, the iPhone, Android, that was a big change in consumer behavior. But the reality is online became where people shop for anything. Doesn't matter what I'm buying. Online became where I'm going. And if you look what happened, there was over 77 million online leads generated to only 5.4 million annual home sales. And this was data from 2016. Now, I wish I could tell you that there was really 77.5 million people looking for homes online, but I would be lying. The reality is what happened is the average consumer became a lead multiple times, and they still are today. They're becoming a lead 6 to 12 times. And why is that? They're going to go on your website, Realtor.com, Zillow. They're going to find a home they're interested in. They're going to say, hey, I have a question, or I'm interested in that home. And what's their experience? They don't hear back. So what do? They go to another site, and they repeat this behavior until someone follows up. Now, I'm not saying you guys here today that are watching are doing that you're not following up. But as an industry as a whole, this is real. This is happening, and it happens today. We've done a lot of case studies, and we do a lot of testing, and it still happens where we will go in and do secret shopping, and we find out that consumers, agents are not getting back. Reality is when you don't get back, you lose that opportunity. And what we do know is that it's really diminishing returns with how quickly you get back. If you can get back to basically, there's really two key statistics here. Your ability to actually contact somebody, actually make a connection, goes up 100 times if you're able to get back to that person within 5 minutes compared to 30 minutes. Your ability to qualify that person increases 21 times from just getting back to someone in 5 minutes compared to 30 minutes. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to stack the odds in my favor, right? And let's be honest, all of you watching today, are online leads cheap? Are they free? They're not. They're costing you a lot of money. They're not free. And look, if you want to be able to generate an ROI from your spend, you have to be able to, at the very, very beginning, get back to someone in 5 minutes. It's easier said than done, though. And the cold reality of all this is look, 48% of all buyer inquiries were never responded to. They just go unanswered, hence the amount of leads there are. If they did get responded to, the average response was 15.29 hours. And this is data, by the way, from the California Association of Realtors. And only 23% of leads were followed up in the first hour. This is the reality of the consumer behavior. I don't know about you, but I'm super impatient. When I go online, I expect things to be instant. I don't want to wait. And that's consumers in general today. And look at millennials. I mean, talk about an impatient group of people. That's the reality. They want speed. They want someone to help them right away. So the expectations of consumers today have also increased. The reality is the agent ability to actually meet those expectations hasn't quite gotten there yet. That's where Fivestreet kind of was born from. And that's where what Fivestreet really helps you solve is that ability to get back to that person quickly, whether you do it personally or not, or find someone if you're in a team or a company that can get back to someone if you're not. And so I'll kind of give you an overview of Fivestreet, but I want to kind of talk about the first thing that Fivestreet does is let's kind of go back to the very beginning. There isn't one place anymore for leads. You probably have a variety of different sources. You might get leads from realtor.com. You might get leads from your personal website. If you're part of a franchise or a broker, they may provide you leads. You might do Facebook. I could go on. The one thing that Fivestreet does is allows you to consolidate all of your online lead generation into a single platform. So take all of these sources, doesn't matter how many you have, and bring them into one central place. That out of the gate will help you. Because typically, where do you get your leads today? Hopefully they go to Top Producer if you're using Top Producer. But majority of them just go to your email. It's not the best place for online leads to go. Fivestreet is actually going to respond to all those leads on your behalf. So if you're busy with clients at an open house, in a meeting, you can't get back to that person, Fivestreet's going to respond to them on your behalf with a personal email and text. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in detail. We're also going to make your leads smarter. We're going to take that lead and we're going to confirm if their phone number is valid. We're going to add social information from Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and really enhance who that person is so that when you do follow up, you have a little bit more information about who they are. If you're part of a team or a brokerage, we have some additional routing rules available where you can actually set up those leads to broadcast out to your team, route to certain agents. I mean, there's a variety of different rules that you can set up where that if you're not available, or if you are part of a team and you provide these leads to your team, that one, you can get them in the hands of someone who is available, and two, you'll be able to track your conversion. Fivestreet is 100% mobile. There is, to be honest with you, no software to use. You log in once, set it up, and now you're just interacting with Fivestreet via text messaging. So super easy to use. And then there's obviously additional reporting and, of course, tight integration with Top Producer, because Fivestreet's goal is really to respond to that lead, get it in the hands of someone to follow up with. It's not built to help you maintain that lead long term. Its focus is on kind of the first week, I like to call it. So how does it work? Basically, this is kind of like the journey. Consumer submits a lead, and I'll kind of show this in a little bit of detail. Lead is routed to you or your team. If you do have team routing or company brokerage routing, there's, again, a variety of different ways you can set it up. The consumer is going to get an auto text, which I'm going to go into detail within 5 minutes. Agent will receive all the details so you can follow up really quickly. And ultimately, at that point, it's up to you to build the relationship. So what does this look like in real? First one is an auto response. And one of the things we've just done, and this will be coming very soon to Fivestreet, is we've actually taken our auto response, which, by the way, is widely used and loved. And I'm sure if some of you guys are using Fivestreet today, I don't know if anyone is, you probably get a lot of responses back from the auto response. But what we've done is we actually have enhanced the auto response. So I expect this to come out within the next week or two, where it'll be a little bit more personal. So the one thing today with Fivestreet is the auto response is kind of not personal enough. And so what we've done is, moving forward, is the auto response for Fivestreet will now have their name. It's also going to add in the property they inquired on, and it's also going to add in the source. So instead of saying, "Hey Meg, thank you for inquiry. I'll be in touch with you shortly," when you have their name, just kind of say, "Hey, thanks for inquiries. I'll get back to you shortly. When's a good time to talk?" And actually say, "Hey Meg, I just got your inquiry on 1234 Main Street from realtor.com. When is a good time to talk?" And just kind of makes it a little bit more personal, where the consumer feels like you actually took the time to write it. It's also a good reminder that they actually what property they responded on and what site they were on. So I'm just going to pause for a minute because I hear I'm frozen, or some comments are that I'm frozen. All right. Am I back? Meg, can you hear me? Can you see me? I just want to get a confirmation here. All right. So I hope you guys can hear and see me. So I want to kind of go back. So the first thing that Fivestreet is going to do is 100% of the leads that you generate will now get a personal response from Fivestreet itself. And that personal response will include their name, the address of the property they inquired on, and what site were they on. Again, consumers typically will inquire on multiple sites. They'll inquire on multiple properties. So it's always a good thing to be a little bit more personal and remind them exactly what property you're responding to. I will tell you that when is a good time to talk is a great way to end the personal response, because it's basically asking them to respond. So great opportunity there. If you are a current Fivestreet user, you can expect this to be live again within the next week or two. All right. So this is really what it looks like. Consumer goes to a website, searches for a property, they submit an interest in that property. And again, as I mentioned, we support over 150 lead sources with Fivestreet. So basically the rule of thumb is if they generate a lead and you get an email from them with that lead detail, Fivestreet can process it. The consumer will get an auto response from the system within 2 minutes. And the reason we do a 2-minute delay is really to make it look like you took the time to write it, versus an auto response that happens instantly where the consumer would know that you didn't do that. Then you yourself are going to get a text message with the lead information containing name, phone number, email address, property, and a link to the lead directly in Fivestreet. So this is what it looks like once you actually get the lead in Fivestreet. It's going to contain the lead's contact information, confirm the phone number, the message they put on the site, where the lead came from, what time. And then what I mentioned also what Fivestreet will do is actually profile out that consumer. So actually take that lead and try and scour the internet within seconds and pull in their Facebook profile, their Twitter, their LinkedIn. Do they have a job? Where do they work? Where do they live? In some cases, even pull in a picture of them. How frightening is that? Right? So basically, Fivestreet is going to basically consolidate all this for you, respond, and then make your lead smarter. And then if you're part of a team or a broker, get the lead in the hands of an agent who can follow up quickly. And then additionally to that, It'll also, so not only does it profile the consumer, it'll actually also profile the property. So it'll go and add in additional information about the property they inquired on, including a link to that property on realtor.com. So if you are getting leads from properties that aren't your own, uh, it's a great thing for this, because what it will do is go and basically scour realtor.com, pull in all this information for you, and present it to you in an easy digestible format where you can quickly understand, okay, this is the house, the bedrooms, baths, year built. And if you want more details, it has a direct link to that listing on realtor.com. Super helpful if you're getting leads off properties that aren't your own. And when we're trying to make a first impression, having some basic level knowledge about the property is always helpful when you get back to someone really quickly. So that's really our overview of Fivestreet today. So what I want to do, I apologize for the technical difficulties. I hope that you guys were able to understand majority of the value that Fivestreet brings. What I want to do now is just pause and see if you guys have any questions that I can answer for you about Fivestreet, or Top Producer for that matter. This is your event, so I will pause here and see if there's any questions from people who are watching today. And again, if you have more questions about any of our solutions, whether it be Top Producer, Fivestreet, you can call us at 1-855-534-5534, or you can also email learnmore@topproducer.com, and one of our product consultants would be happy to follow up with you and answer any questions you may have. All right, if I don't see any questions here, we'll wrap up today's Facebook Live. Again, everyone would like to keep these short, simple, on topic. So I hope this was of value to you, where you learned a little bit more about how you can maybe possibly leverage Fivestreet in your business. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And I wish everyone a great rest of your day and week. Thank you.